Hey guys, welcome to TV Movie Mistress, your one-stop shop for all things entertainment. As always, I'm your host, Moji.
And
How do we do it? I don't know.
No, I'm sorry. Because
No,
I
you
say
go
I'm
for
Mo,
it. No.
and then I say I'm Carly, but my bad. You go ahead.
Guys, she's Carly. She's Carly. I'm Moji.
Mo, we just started. Come on.
No, 25 seconds in. Love it. Love it.
Up.
Shenanigans. Bad. You did not fuck it up. I fucked it up. But we're both back this week, guys, to talk about Interview with the Vampire, Season 1, Episode 6, titled, a lovely... That was why I was bringing up IMDb like 5 minutes ago, Carly, and I absolutely did not get to the show page. Love it.
Wait, what do you mean?
The show's title.
Or the name of the episode.
God damn it. Something about hell.
Oh, good Lord. It is called... What's it called?
Hey, bring it down. Bring it down. I'm buying this time and doing a horrible job of it. But, okay, I have it. Season 1, episode. You guys ready? You guys ready? Like angels put in hell by God.
Oh, that's a great title.
I love the titles. I love every fucking... I like when people, like... give a fuck about titles, but doesn't give away a lot about the episode either. But it's still, once you watch it, you're like, yeah, that's perfect.
Right.
Lovely. Love it. Anyway, guys, we're back. We're going to be talking about episode 6, which follows the aftermath of the brutal episode 5.
Oof.
Where everything just everything does disintegrate into a pile of ashes. Carly, I want to know. The listeners want to know.
Do they, though?
Yes, they do. They told me. They didn't tell me, but they told me. They want to know what you thought about episode 5, which sort of starts with us seeing Claudia, spread her wings, be assaulted, come back home, Louis and Lestat's relationship falling apart, and then just the final outcome where Lestat drops our man after showing us he can fly.
It was
fly like an eagle. Stop. Go ahead.
Episode 5 is my favorite episode after watching the series a couple times, every episode a couple times as well. Like, today solidified for me. I watched 5 and 6 back to back, and 5 is a phenomenal episode full of just fantastic, just honest and brutal performances that just kind of made the episode for me. But a lot was happening in that episode that I really like, which is we get like teenage Claudia, which is also a hot teenage mess. And she has a lot of feelings, and she's testing her parents and going through a lot of shit.
As she should.
As she should, yeah, as teens do. We don't like it, but they do. And that was
former teenagers or so.
Oh my God! Right, as former teenagers, now that I have a 12-year-old, I'm like, oh, my poor
parents. You just gotta send them to boarding school at that point to avoid it, man.
Do we? Oh, yes. But no, teen Claudia was just as we thought she was going to be. Where everything, all those feelings and all those emotions and all that kind of like storm of angst that it is being a teenager, sometimes being a teenage girl. And then you add on top of that, like what was going on with her and the whole, like, you're a vampire, your body's never going to change and all that stuff, all those questions, like all that was like a storm of just teendom. And I loved watching it. And I loved watching how she kind of pushed the envelope and pushed that line of danger to put everyone in danger. And seeing her dads, I guess, to deal with that. Yeah. And how they both dealt with it. The beginning of the episode was phenomenal for me, and I was like, this can't get any better. And then we get the disintegration of Louis and Lestat's relationship once she leaves the house. Heartbreaking. Well, he said it was like almost a decade. It was like 7 years of them.
They missed the roaring 20s.
Yes. How you miss the roaring 20s?
Do you know how bad your relationship gotta be to miss the fucking roaring 20s?
The whole roaring 20s. I was like, nothing. It wasn't even worth it. But them kind of going through the motions almost, and Louis being obsessed with Claudia, and Lestat growing resentment towards Claudia. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, I don't know. Like the first time I watched the episode, I was like, I don't know how this is going to, how this like kettle is gonna like pop, but it's gonna. And the way it did was just like,
brutal.
It was brutal. It was vicious and cruel and toxic and painful to watch. It was a lot of fun to watch just as a TV watcher, watching this like incredible piece of media. Like everything that I wanted from the show, it gave me in this episode 5. Watching the fight between Louis and Lestat, you know, he admits it later in episode 6 about like being abandoned is his trigger, but you can really see how it definitely was. And from the moment where, from the moment he says something like, she's back for she's back for a millisecond and that's it. Like I've lost you for good or something like that. Or you go, you leave. And he just snapped. And that was fucking vicious to watch. It was really painful. And I loved every second of it. I don't know. I thought episode 5 was an excellent episode. Probably the best of the season.
I agree. Especially with I just got to give kudos to the sound engineer, sound team, all of those people. Cause this season, I'm a noob. I don't really notice like visual and like sound shit. But when I notice, I know, oh, y'all did something good.
Right.
Right. So just the choice of audio, of soundtrack or audio, I don't know what the official word is, but this instrumental music that is, especially that was used in episode 5, that just holds the tension from when like that fight is happening in their home to all the way when like we discover Louis can fly. Like it's just insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was absolutely brutal and violent and terrible. And then with episode 6, we have to bear the ramifications of that brutality.
Absolutely. And one of my favorite things about episode 5 that made 6 almost better was during that fight, during that physical, brutal kind of like domestic fight that Lestat and Louis were having. The POV was pretty much Claudia. So then in episode 6, her rage and her distrust and her, like all those feelings that she has for Lestat up until the conclusion of, the decision that she comes to in episode 6, like all that kind of really makes, not only makes sense, but it really kind of comes to a head and you feel it on a different level because you kind of saw episode 5 through her eyes, or the big events of episode 5 through her eyes. And I love that, that connection, that kind of forethought of it.
Like we're sort of, Claudia was like a third party, just like we were a third party in like the mess. Yeah, it was excellently executed.
Right. Because we didn't need to see the physical and him, hurting him the way he did, the way Lestat did. But to feel it on an emotional level via Claudia were I felt way more impactful than seeing the physical aspect of it.
Yes, and I think we all, as a society, not we all, because some of us are already there. Like everyone needs to become okay. Is not the right word, but I don't need to see the abuse to know abuse happened, to know the effects of abuse. Like we as a viewer don't need to see it. It sort of reminds me of the whole, like the most recent example, Megan Thee Stallion, and how, that audio comes out. Like from day one, I believed her. Like you get shot, you get an x-ray, there's police report. That's just fucking common sense. But so many people wanted to be like, well, this and that. Well, she sucked this person. She, like, because your sexuality or how many, like, I don't care if I fucked 5 million people in 1 year. That's no correlation to my honesty. Me being a virgin doesn't mean I'm honest. Like none of those are things. Obviously, it's things to control women, but it's not a thing. But so many people who did not believe her after that audio came out, well, like now I believe it. And it's like, are you dumb? Right? Like, why do you have to see like, can you not just look at her? Can you not see the statistics? Can you not, like, why? I don't need to see the abuse to know abuse happened.
Right.
Is the point.
And I mean, it's such a great example about how like women still to this day are still being questioned when they're not being being believed or being taken seriously
Yeah.
ever
Yeah.
when it comes to how they're treated or
Yeah.
abused or whatnot.
It's always, what was she wearing? What did she do? Maybe
Right. It's
she,
always
like,
her
it's like,
fault.
why,
It's
like,
they're always
let me punch you
questioning
in the
her.
fucking face, and
Right.
let me let's leave the
Right.
media ask what pants were you wearing that day. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
very, as a woman, it's very, I don't know, disappointing, for lack
Yeah,
of a
it's
better word.
disheartening.
Yeah.
It's disheartening that
Yeah.
just as a society, it feels like the society doesn't have our backs.
Oh, absolutely
And
fucking not.
the whole that whole thing was a perfect example of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yes. Like, one of the most famous, powerful, all men
Mm-hmm.
want to fuck her, but all of a sudden, because y'all want to fuck her, that is also why she's lying. So it was just
Right.
like, well, fuck all of you. I hope you die.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit too strong, but like, whatever. But that's, yeah, that was to sort of tie back into Interview with the Vampire, the ending of episode 5, and the domestic violence that Louis endures at the hands of Lestat. With episode 6, we open in the present with Louis and Daniel. I'm kind of over Daniel.
You're over Daniel. I
And
love
over
him more and
Daniel, I
more.
think, like, since episode 2. Like, I don't have a problem with somebody having an attitude, but he just seems miserable. Like, he's not even happy with himself.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of why I like him. But I also like the dynamic between him and Louis, because you can tell that they have beef from like way back, right? That still isn't like entirely resolved.
Yeah.
But I also really like that we have this really fantastical thing that it's this vampire that's telling me this vampire story about other vampires and his life as a vampire.
But he
Right?
believes it.
Right. It's already fantastical. So the fact that him and Louis kind of have this like antagonistic, like they're not super cool relationship makes whatever he believes or whatever he's taken, like, I don't know, it makes whomever's going to read his book probably, take him more at his word than if he was like totally in love with Louis and like
I
him and
mean,
Louis were like BFFs. You know what I mean?
again, that's true. But again, I do think Daniel's a good author, a good writer, and will be a good author in the sense of like portraying Louis' words, but I still think he's a miserable human being.
He is. No, he absolutely is.
Yeah, and that rubs me the wrong way. As a fellow miserable human being.
You don't like to see yourself represented like that.
I still laugh a couple of times in the day. Like, I feel like he doesn't laugh at all. Like, you got to get some good Hamlet comedy in there. Like, you might be murdering, but you got a joke out of it. Come on now, Daniel.
That's so funny. I love it. I love how prickly he is. I love how much of an asshole he is. I love how he's just not. You know what I mean? He doesn't.
That wore
take
for
any
me by
shit.
episode 3. I was
Like, he
done.
doesn't
I was
take
like,
shit from these fucking vampires. He's like He's like, I'm gonna die and I don't give a fuck. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
All that is so much fun to watch.
It's like, have you sorted out your issues?
He has not. No, he has not.
not.
And that's what makes him fun. That's what makes it fun.
I was like, Daniel,
He has not sorted out any of his shit.
And
He
maybe
has
that's
a lot
also
of
a
shit,
problem. A
and
lot.
he doesn't give a fuck
At all. So we have that present, but we quickly jump from the present back into the past. And in the past, we see Claudia taking care of Louis, who is just, I think he said he had a punctured lung, like ribs were broken. He was blind in one eye for 5 weeks. And this is such a perfect callback to when Lestat was teaching Claudia how to drive and she was driving reckless. And he's like, look, you can still be hurt, little girl. And like, need time to coalesce. Yeah. And this is that, right? He's not dead, which I don't, thank God he didn't spatter. But there's months of healing and it's brutal. Like,
it's brutal. Yeah.
It's brutal because it's just like this. I was telling you before I pressed record, like this was very much I feel, because it's like, okay, I know I'm an Lestat apologist, I own that, like, but I also understand the seriousness, the impact, the damage someone like Lestat does to a person, and I absolutely recognize that it's not right. And that's why I say, in my perfect ideal, in my perfect world, what would happen is Lestat learns, apologizes, and we grow and we heal. But
that would be fantastic. Yeah.
That's not how reality works. And this episode was a perfect, I think, realization of that idea. Because you always think, well, maybe I should forgive that person. Maybe I should be better to that person. Maybe it just only happened the one time. And then you bring that person back in your life. But it's already broken.
Right.
Because whether or not you you acknowledge it's broken. It's broken. Because for lack of a better word, it's like throws you from the sky.
Yeah.
Whether or not I forgive you, my guy.
Yeah.
You threw me from the sky. I'm gonna have some type of way about that, even if I welcome you back in my arms.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's funny. It just because it never, or at least to me, it didn't seem like that was Louis' problem. What Lestat did to him is more the like the betrayal almost.
That he could do it?
No, the like not telling him about flying, about the woman. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it was more that than
like, I don't know you. Who are you?
Yeah, because what he told Daniel in the beginning, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, like he was just kind of like, and whether you agree with it or not, he it's a point, right? Where he says, is someone the sum of one mistake or something like that? Does that mean that you will never forgive them or you can't move on? Or, he had like those kind of sentiments. So to me, I'm just kind of like, he probably would have forgiven him and all that stuff and brought him back anyway, because they have that connection. He has that love for him and, or that, whatever, what was it that he's told Daniel, that vampire bond.
Yeah, the excuse.
Yeah. I mean, it may be true, it may not. Like, if we are seeing it through, the lens of like a domestic violence situation, like, yeah, it does seem that way. But
like, that's the father of my child. That's my husband. That's the man I've known, so on. Yeah, so on and so forth. Yeah.
So I feel like it seemed like he was more, emotionally hurt by like all the other things.
Like, it's not easy. I think it's not ever easy to cut off any type of bond, any type of relationship. It doesn't even have to be it doesn't have to be a lover. It could be friendship. It could be familial. It's all the same. I think that's sort of why this episode really made me sad in a way, because at the end of the day, Lestat is a fucking narcissistic, manipulative bastard. And when I tell you, I have a lot of experience with familial members who are toxic, narcissistic bastards. It hit home for me. So again, it's like, this is not just a lover thing. This is also, we have people in our lives like that abuse us, that we still love. And even when we put boundaries down, that doesn't mean the love is gone.
Right. Like something happens, it doesn't just shut off so quickly, because that's not the way emotions work.
Unfortunately.
Feelings don't work that way. You can't just, flip a switch and you no longer feel everything you felt, 10 minutes ago.
Exactly. And I think episode 6 does a fantastic exploration of that idea, right? Like, okay, what if you did take them back? This is what would happen. What if you didn't take them back? Well, this would probably still happen, so writing, editing, just fucking editing, just execution. 10 out of 10.
Do you think, do you think Lestat also, because I got the impression in episode 6 that he may have scared himself. If this was the first time that something like this has happened, like he may have done that. And there was an actual sense of remorse within him. Did you?
Oh yeah, no, I absolutely think there was a sense of remorse, but I think
it wasn't just him being like a vicious asshole.
No, I think there was a sense of remorse, monster. But it's short-lived. Lestat is actually a good comparison to. Did you ever watch There Will Be Blood?
Yeah.
So like the main character, right, where he's just a terrible fucking person. Over the sum of his life.
Right.
But throughout that life, there are these moments of like, you love that person. Like, he loves that person and he has remorse for the shitty things that he did. But the overall sum of it, he's still a fucking terrible person, who had a son that loved him, that he made deaf in his pursuit for like oil, So yeah, I think Lestat truly feels remorse, but I don't think this is the first time Lestat has just lost his fucking mind and done something very violent, like a fucking petulant child. But the thing is, when people act like this, you don't have to be there for it. But something that broke my heart that we'll talk about later is the fact that also like Louis didn't feel safe enough to escape.
No.
Because he knew. Lestat would come after him if he does, which we kind of see with Claudia later.
Yeah. I mean, yes, but also I do think that there's something in Louis that will always love him, and I don't think he wanted to escape necessarily. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no,
I didn't think he wanted
yeah.
to leave Lestat.
In a lot of ways, Lestat don't want to leave either, which is
No,
just
he really doesn't.
toxic on toxic. Toxic on toxic on toxic. It's insane. But yeah, so in the past, Claudia's like helping Louis, taking care of him, cleaning the house, rehabilitating him. And Lestat returns into their lives after a couple of years. He returns with a nice, as a book lover, a nice gift of a, very prized book. And then it's just subsequent gifts afterwards, including a brand new car. Like, I think we started the series with like horses and carriages. Now we got a car.
Yeah, right?
That's to sort of show the evolution of things.
What is the 30s now, right?
It is the 30s. Yeah. And this is sort of like this entire scene is Louis monologuing about how like it's like, he's wearing me down, but it's also like the fact that like Lestat continues, like they reject him, he comes back with a gift, he's like, I've changed, I'm better, I'm here for our family. And what does it for Louis, what sort of breaks Louis, is a record that Lestat records.
Oh my God, I love that so much.
Composed and plays all the instruments just by himself.
Yeah.
But
no, that's not what I loved.
I know what you love, you Ethan. Is what you loved, Antoinette.
No, what I love is the fact that Lestat purposefully put Antoinette there to get a rise out of Louis.
It's just
I
terrible.
love that shit.
It's just terrible.
It was terrible,
And
but it worked.
It worked. And that talk about knowing someone.
Yeah,
talk about knowing someone.
Yeah.
I feel like after a couple of years, Lestat was like, I don't have time for this shit anymore. let me speed this up. He's been holding out a bit too long.
Oh man.
So yeah, this record player that Lestat creates out of love, but is embedded with like not a good present in the form of Antoinette's voice, like just enrages Louis, and he, I guess, just rushes over to meet Lestat, who is current. I guess he was still. I saw this. I was like, I hate you, Lestat. I was like, I was rooting for you. I was that mean. I was like, I was rooting for you, Lestat. I was really that mean. And Louis confronts him as he's like, I guess, in coitus with Antoinette.
Yeah. But Lestat, when he saw Louis come in, he was like, "Oh, he's from the Mississippi for me, babe.
Oh, that's so sweet."
Oh,
and this scene is terrible. Everybody needs to get the fuck away from Lestat. But I feel like Claudia is the only one smart enough to realize the impending fucking iceberg in the form of Lestat. And I hated the scene because as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh, they gonna fuck. They gonna fuck
and hurt each other."
And hurt each other.
He's gonna let him hurt him.
Yeah. That's a key word. He's gonna let him hurt him, because I think at this point you do have to take some ownership of it, right? Like, you're willing to be hurt. Like, and that's a thing. Some people are willing to bear the hurt for the love they receive. Mm-hmm. That's not good sometimes, but some people are like, well, it is what it is. It's terrible. You should love yourself more than love yourself as much as Lestat loves himself, y'all.
Yeah, and absolutely, absolutely. But but the thing is that, like, if we are like, if on some like real talk level, we all want to be like super healthy and not toxic and all that, right? But when it comes to like having like deep feelings for someone, loving someone like really hard, being blinded by love, all that, I feel like so many of us have been in situations like that we know is not good for us in more ways than one, in one way over another, whatever, that we know that we shouldn't be in. Yes. But it happens. I hurt you with my words. I let you hurt me because I know that I hurt you and I shouldn't have said that. Like, it happens all the time on different levels. Oh yeah. So it's really easy to be like, oh, we shouldn't do this, or we shouldn't let somebody treat us like this. And we shouldn't.
But it's harder. It's hard.
But it happens.
Yeah. And it takes work to get out of that mindset.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like, you can't manage the way you feel about something or about someone. You know what I mean? It just happens. Yeah. Sometimes you don't want to fall in love with someone, but you are. But you do. So it's like, it, that struggle, I think, was really well depicted, especially with Louis in the first half of this episode.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And that for me is sort of why I always like toxic couples, couple portrayals, because I feel like with TV especially, we always expect our couples to be sanitized, and once they fall in love, everything takes care of itself, and it's like that's not how any of that works. So for me, the more complex character is on TV, I think that does a better job with humanity, because I'm not saying we all have toxic individuals in our lives, but like, for better or for worse, there are some negative people in our lives. And anyway, I don't know where I was going with that, but
or even ourselves, like we do fucked up shit when we are triggered.
Yes.
When people feel abandoned, if that's a huge trigger for you, that's what it is. When you feel
you lash out,
and you lash out in ways that you may not be proud of yourself later when you think back, and you're in a different space, right? In a quote unquote better space. Absolutely, it may be incredibly shameful.
Yeah.
But in the moment that it happens, is just the way, is a reaction, and sometimes we cannot, or we don't always control our reactions as much as maybe we quote unquote should.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. Unfortunately for people like Louis, who I think are the majority of people on Earth, when you are for better or for worse, when you are ensnared into someone's orbit, a person like Lestat, you don't see, because this is not the Louis we met when this show started. This is absolutely not the same Louis. So obviously his time with Lestat has changed him, and we already know Lestat is a manipulative person. So all of these changes and just situations that Louis has gone through in the past couple of years have all sort of stemmed from his love of Lestat.
Yeah, or being with Lestat, sure, that's definitely an argument, absolutely, for him. I mean, you could argue that it really truly began when he became a vampire, and that decision, and you can argue whether it was his or Lestat, but like I think that really was the beginning of the end for Louis, and that transformation began there, and his like feelings about being a vampire and vampirism, and
but also like fucking Lestat wanting to continue to have his cake and eat it too.
What do you mean?
Like in terms of like fucking other people and having an open.
That was part of their relationship.
Yeah, but like Louis only strayed once. Like that was like
no, I'm not apologizing for Lestat, but just in that, because in this episode when they were just kind of like it was an affair, I was like, but I thought that was the arrangement that him and
I think that's another compromise. It's like when people say they're in a polyamorous relationship, but only one person is bringing the people in.
Yeah.
That's sort of what I feel with this. It's like Louis tried to bring someone. I mean, Louis didn't bring his friend in, but that one time Louis went out of bounds. Like Lestat fucking almost lost his fucking mind. So there's still a power imbalance there in terms of, is it an open relationship or not? It's obviously not for Louis. But again, it goes back to Lestat wanting to have his cake and eat it too. Sure. But my favorite scene about this whole Louis confronting Lestat is how Louis like, get the fuck out, Antoinette. And Antoinette's like, this is my house. And he's like, I don't give a fuck.
You think I give a fuck?
Yeah, and they fucked, and she was outside.
She was outside, yeah.
Bitch, just leave. Go to the local bar. Like, why are you like, I will be damned if I am being rained on like a wet dog while I'm smoking a cigarette while these two men fuck in my fucking bed.
The thing is that I don't know if she is, I don't know what's the word in this world, but like in other worlds has been glamored. You know what I mean? By the vampire. I don't know if she's been,
because she knows he's a vampire. Like there's bite man,
but there's also this like level of, I don't know, like infatuation with him that feels a little more than just.
There's no self-preservation.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's what I got towards the end.
There's no There should be a bit more self-preservation. Yeah.
And it's very much, she feels very much like kind of like a lap dog. And I hate to describe her that way, but it feels that way.
Yeah.
Especially towards the end of this episode. So I'm just kind of like.
Yeah, I don't think she knows she's a lap dog.
Yeah.
I was like, girl, you ain't going to make it out the show alive. But, but yeah, her smoking on the balcony as they fuck was hilarious. So from there, that's after several years, Louis kind of lets Lestat back into his life. And this is not something Claudia is happy about. And Daniel actually also kind of points it out by saying, so you took back your murderer, your maker, your abuser, which we see Louis just continues to hate that every time Daniel points out that, you took your abuser back.
Yeah.
He's very uncomfortable with it because who the fuck wants to be like, yeah, the dude who put his hands on, I let him back. Like, nobody wants to admit that, or even you just want to be like, I went from A through Z and everything was fine.
Right. No. I mean, absolutely nobody wants to admit that. But also it just seems like Louis, like, I think what bothers him most about him saying that is the fact that he's just kind of like, that for Louis is like, oh, it's so much more than just that.
Yeah.
Like, Louis understands that, yes, I get it. Totally get it. Abuser took him back. Absolutely. But it's so much more than that. And reducing it to just that, I feel like that's what really upsets him.
And that makes sense. But when someone sort of tarnishes the relationship, it's hard to see more than that, which I will get to more in the second half. So, okay. So, so now there's 3 of them in the relationship, and by the third, at this point, I mean Claudia. I guess 4 if you count Antoinette. But they have a bunch of rules for Lestat. If he's to come back into the family fold, we, the audience, enter around rule number 4, which is like you have to kill Antoinette. And Lestat is like, do I?
Like she's like, whatever. She's like, whatever. And they're like, yeah.
Yeah, no, you got to kill her, which I thought was very interesting,
Why?
especially with, because like Louis all like, don't kill humans, but he's like, nah, that bitch needs to die.
Right.
Like,
that bitch needs to die.
Like, I was very like cutthroat. I was like, I thought you believed in animals.
To me, I just feel like after all these years, especially for Louis, like I understand Claudia and all that, but like especially for Louis, after all these years, you really thought that that's what was going to be okay with someone like Lestat. Like, I don't know, putting him more in a cage, like he did. I think he said that
by
in
telling him
the
to kill her
before. No, by putting all these rules on him.
Oh,
like
gotcha.
I don't know. It just felt like a bad idea for someone like Lestat.
I think that's the only thing you can do to sort of presume there's some sort of power being taken back by Louis. And, Lestat, for the most part, plays along, right? He's like, okay, fine. We'll pretend like, not like we'll pretend, but like, I will, because to get back, they want to get back to where they were before there was that flip in just power level, right? So it's like, sure, you want me to kill her? Like, oh, Claudia brings up, I'm not your daughter anymore, I'm your sister. It's like all of these rules to sort of tilt the scales back to even. But sadly enough, I think we kind of realize you kind of can't do that anymore. Oh, we also get an honest moment where Lestat is like, I'm trying to be honest with you guys, and you guys don't believe me, and it's hurting my fucking feelings. And he's like, ask me anything. I don't care. I will be honest. And we get a series of, answers to things we sort of inquired about, which is, did he kill, was he responsible or have a hand in Paul's death, Louis' brother, in any sort of way? And Lestat is like, I am so hurt that you would ask that. Like, he didn't just drop him.
Did you think he did?
Before this episode, I would have said he didn't. But the way he answered the question makes me think he did.
Okay.
Because he was like, I would never do anything to hurt you, or some shit like that. I don't remember the exact, but I'm like, my God, you dropped them off. You dropped them like 5,000 feet in the sky last week. So you missed me with that. So the way he kind of answered it, like, okay, you didn't kill Paul. You didn't go in his mind and tell him to jump off the ledge. But what did you do prior to that? It's almost like, yeah, he didn't kill Paul, but what did you do to Paul?
Okay.
So that's more what I was thinking. And also we find out about his maker, which also smelled like a lie.
What? But, really?
Yeah. And I'll tell you the part that smelled like a lie, which is when he's like, oh yeah, my maker, he just plucked me from somewhere, dragged me to his hotel room. I saw all these other bodies that looked like me. And then like the story kind of ends with the fact that like, Magnus left him with a bunch of money and like killed himself over
Mhm.
flames. That sounds very convenient. That part sounded like a lie. I was like,
The
what
part
did
where
you?
he killed himself?
Yeah, I was like,
Okay.
because he it wasn't like, yes, that part where he said Magnus killed himself like by walking into flames. I was like, what did you do before
Right.
that part? Because I can absolutely see Lestat driving someone to be like, I can't escape you. I'm just gonna jump into this fire.
Right.
So that's where I sort of call lies into whether or not Magnus killed himself or his dad. I feel like the internet is trying to spoil me, which is kind of hilarious because I watched this movie. I watched Interview with the Vampire. I must have just blacked out the last 30 minutes for whatever traumatic reasons I do not remember.
Traumatic reasons.
I think I stopped. I think my brain just stopped when it stopped being fun, which I would probably do with this show in episode 6 and 7. But I cannot wait to remember what I blocked out about Magnus, but also like I was watching this shit as a kid, which I should not have. So my small child brain was probably like, bitch, no.
I never thought Interview with the Vampire, the movie, the Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, Kristen Dunst movie was or is as I don't know, as like vicious and raw as the TV series is.
Well, I mean, Scientology, Tom Cruise, it's not. But again, as a child watching it,
yeah,
I might have made it more than it was.
More than it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't think it was a lie at all. The Magnus Lestat's entry into vampirism, I don't think was a lie at all. It sounded just as cruel as his living days sounded when he told us that little bit that he told us before about his like family life with his father and brothers. But the one thing that could possibly be a lie is the way, if he actually is dead, the way that Magnus died.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or even the reason behind it. Because, like, for example, if it is true that, like, he was kidnapped, it sounded like if everything that Lestat was saying about Magnus is true, it sounded like Magnus is some sort of like serial.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like serial killer.
How
like, really
he just decided to kill himself. Like that's
Right,
the odd
exactly.
part. Like why would someone who at the beginning of the story is this way then choose to end their life that way? That's sort of the disconnect for me.
Right.
And also all these fucking powers Lestat has that he don't tell nobody about.
There's one
Maybe
power.
he has a gaslighting power we don't know about. He gaslights you to death. I don't know.
Funny, I find Lestat really forthcoming. Like that was the one thing in this episode that I was like, I get it. I get why the two of them feel that Lestat is a liar and all that. But I think that like everything that Lestat has said, I don't think that he has been like such a liar to that extent.
This is the problem. Once you break my trust, everything is a lie afterwards. And I feel like that's where me and Claudia are at this episode.
That's where you and Claudia
yes.
Claudia also has a lot of, like, I think a lot of Claudia's shit isn't all about Lestat. You know what I mean? She's, I think it's called transference. Like, I think a lot of the shit and a lot of the hate and a lot of the feelings that she has or all those feelings that she had towards what Bruce did to her and that kind of vampire.
You think she's transferring to Lestat?
Paired with what she knows and what Lestat has done. I think
she just doesn't trust people anymore.
Or especially like vampires like that. And then also, obviously, it doesn't help that while in episode 5, while Lestat is like, you don't know those vampires, they're cruel, they're vicious, he's showing her by being cruel and vicious himself who those people are. So I think not a lot, but I think some of those feelings that she has towards Bruce is absolutely
okay. I got you. Yeah, and but that makes sense, right? It's like,
of course,
I'll use myself as an example. Like whatever, like you grow up in a bad situation, and then you're like, fuck this bad situation. Let me go out into the real world, and then you realize people outside are just as bad.
Yeah,
and you kind of be like, well, better the devil I know than the devil I don't know. But that also sort of something Lestat mentions later. She has experienced something. It's like, yeah, she's been through life. She went through life, Lestat. So maybe she's not as trusting or as naive of you as a person because the outside world, like almost in a sense, what Louis was trying to protect her from
Mm-hmm.
still happen. So yeah, and again, I've talked about how I hate the fact that like assault is sort of a trope that
Yeah.
TV shows use to sort of
As a shorthand.
yeah, for growth. I hate it. We have growth other ways. Also, let's just like cut off every rapist and assaultist penis, not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that is what happens at some point in your life. Even if it's not assault, right? At some point in your life, you will leave the nest, and then you'll be like, wow, everything is not what I thought. So when Lestat says, oh yeah, she came back different, I'm like, yeah, motherfucker. She's an adult.
Yeah,
She
she's
paid
different. She
rent
has darkness.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like that he noticed, you know what I'm saying? Like that he noticed and he's like, and he said it like, you know, it's not just whatever it is that Louis was saying. It's also this, like she came back, experienced X, Y, and Z, and there's a darkness in her now. You know, she's not the same little, you know, little vampire that we created.
I
That
know,
we
with her
shouldn't have,
little
but we
chiffon
created.
skirts that were just fucking
Right.
adorable.
And he likes the way it flows.
Oh, I love it. Love it. So let's see here. So yeah, relationship is different, but with Lestat sort of like opening up himself, they decide to, well, Louis accepts him back. Claudia is like, I'll accept you for Louis.
Right.
But shout out to Claudia Petty on fleek. Here for it. Oh, that's a piece of good. Oh, I got some goat meat. Fried that shit yesterday. Oh, so fucking good.
Delicious. I love it.
Yeah, I can't wait to eat more of it once I'm done. Okay, so in my notes, my barbaric self. Okay, Louis and Claudia make demands of him. He gives free rein to ask questions. Louis asks about Paul. We get answers to who Lestat's maker is, and this begins a new shift in their relationship. And while Louis is willing, Claudia is not, which she lets everyone know, especially Lestat, by continually being petty. And like, yeah, somebody got to be petty in this fucking situation. Like, Louis is too fucking forgiving.
Yeah. And he's to her, and he has done nothing to help her feelings about that.
No, like you
So
still
she's
keeping
gonna
a
continue
whole
breathing
like
that fire. Yeah.
like in my heart. When this motherfucker came back, I didn't think he came back with Antoinette. Like, motherfucker, you still fucking like you can't even like not fuck anyone while you're missing me. Is that too much to ask?
Right.
Like, I want you to like miss me and not fuck someone else. Like. And I think that was when I was done. I was that.
That was the straw for you.
Yeah, I was like, the audacity.
I cannot with you.
Like, yeah. I would have been fine with this episode if he had like been jerking off in his own hand or something, or by himself reading a fucking book. Mm-hmm. But the fact that like he's still living, in a sense.
Yeah.
I can't, not to say like I can't trust your misery. That's a very simplistic take on it. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're still out here living life but sending me gifts saying you miss me and you're sad, are you sad?
Right.
You know? So
I like how that when I think it was in that conversation that they were like, they said something about Antoinette, and he's like, but she's my life. Like, that's like he sees her as like a separate thing than his life,
which is insane. Yeah,
right, which is insane.
It's like he doesn't want to give up a toy for Louis, which in my feelings, that's your escape plan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he says that to her later in the scene that he has with her later, where he says, he's like, I think he says something
I come
like,
to you for a distraction.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I'm not here to hear complaints and to hear all that. Like,
and that's when I knew she was going to die by the end of the series. I was like, somebody's going to kill you, girl.
Absolutely.
Like, self-preservation, where is it for Antoinette? Not here. But yeah, Claudia, smartest motherfucking cookie in this entire show. Give her that clap. She continues to poke at Louis and Lestat in a sense, because like Louis wants them to be like, can you try? And she's like, did you talk to him about trying, motherfucker? Why did you in my face about trying? Louis, go talk to your boy and ask him whether or not he's trying. He don't want to teach me piano. He don't want to teach me chess.
Louis.
I was like, girl, tell him. But then like Louis goes back to like Lestat, and they're sharing a coffin again.
Yeah.
And it was so fucking cute, and I still hated it.
Louis was really trying to like bring the family together.
Yeah.
And Lestat and Claudia can just stand each other just enough to be
in the
make
same
Louis
house.
okay. Right, to
And,
be in the same house.
This is why, and again, I've said before, Claudia is more fucking Louis's child, Lestat's child, than she is Louis. And this fucking episode solidified it.
Louis says that, he said like they're more alike than they realize, or there's so much. And he's said that like multiple times in this series. I think they said that in the episode that she was created as well.
Yeah, but I think like Lestat kind of like, oh, that's your daughter. I'm like, no, that's your motherfucking daughter, sir. Right. Yeah, like y'all are both trash, sir.
Right. There's a lot of your same fucking qualities.
Pretty much all of them.
Pretty much all.
And then we get a chess match where we see Claudia actively poke against Lestat, and like Lestat wins the game, and of course he's not a gracious winner. By the end of the game, though, he decides to go visit Antoinette. He's like, oh, I think they went out to like a park bench and they were all sitting together and like
their hunting night.
Yeah. And I love it because before we seen the scene, but the scene was just with Lestat and Louis, but now it's Lestat, Louis, and Claudia. And I do love how like Lestat brings up like, can I ask a question?
Oh man, that is so fucking. Listen, I
love it.
I love Lestat. I love Lestat. I think he's a really great written character. The performance is amazing, which is the reason that I really like him and like to watch him. But I relate to him so much, and I never related to him more as when he said, "So, am I allowed to ask questions?"
Like the petty.
Like, I was like, yeah, I feel that.
I will like. I just love it, but
so much. I love it so much,
and it's a good question. Like,
I mean, I thought it was fair.
What are we doing? Like with this new family dynamic? How was the eating? How's the dinner plans?
Yeah. I just know I like it because that's kind of like. Obviously, they're not talking about what they should be talking about, so they can actually heal and get over.
What should they be talking about?
Everything that actually happened. It's not about just rules and now you're going to follow it and that's how we're going to trust you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to heal it. We need to process. Anyway.
You mean you can't bring me a toy, a car, every time you fuck up to make me forgive you?
No, that can get you through the door, but we still gotta like fucking actually figure this out.
Because again, he was so close. And this is why I say like I love self-awareness if you have it. We all don't have it. But when they're on this park bench and the Lestat sort of goes, well, at least I'm an honest dog. And it's like he is, right? You can't kind of fault that. He knows he's a dog, but he also is an honest dog, but that still doesn't fix it.
No, it doesn't. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. But I think he's also kind of calling attention to how not ridiculous, because they are putting their boundaries, and they should. You should have boundaries.
I love especially the when boundary making.
You know, when
thanks
you're
for Claudia,
this person back into your life. Yes. But at the same time, it's just kind of like it is a little ridiculous that that's the only thing they were doing, and we're not actually talking about it and dealing with it.
Well, they kind of did it when they came down with the rules.
How is that dealing with it? They're just putting rules.
I mean, I hope rule 1 through 3 was you can't put your hands on me, and rule number 2 was you can't put your hands on Claudia, and rule number 3 was if you put your hands on me and or Claudia, we'll cut off your hands. I would hope that's the part we missed. I don't think so.
No, absolutely. And I'm not saying anything about the rules, and they definitely should. What I'm saying is about them actually dealing with what already happened.
Yeah. No, they're doing that thing all family does, where it's like someone lets you in the door and you just pretend nothing happened.
Right. But I think part of
until the next fight.
Such a like little petty asshole when he was like, am I allowed to ask a question? Was him pointing that out. That's just like, this is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it.
The amount of petty is beautiful. It's delicious.
It is. Unhealthily delicious. So Lestat is hanging out with Marie. Wait, who's Marie? Anyway, that's the new name she wants. My bad. Antoinette. Lestat goes to hang out with Antoinette for some distraction. And then we see the glove on her hand. I was like, I knew this bitch wasn't dead. I was like, who the fuck thought she was dead? I was like, he probably glamored someone to write a newspaper article, and I was like, I guess so. But this is, again, me side-eyeing Lestat at this entire scene, but it's also very true to Lestat. Oh, yes. I forgot to point out my favorite part of this episode is when, like, Claudia's like, bah! Bah!
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why I made you laugh. She was like, I'm not. She's like, just because I agree with you don't mean I like you. And I was like,
she has points.
Yeah,
she has all the points.
This show's gonna give me a headache. But okay, so Lestat is hanging out with Marie. We find out she's obviously she's not dead, but she has lost a finger. And I guess the promise to her letting Lestat cut off her finger was like she would become a star. And I was like, girl, you're gonna be dead. You're not gonna become a star.
I know he's like, yeah, I'm gonna promise. But anyways, come over here.
Yeah, right. And you see, like, did you notice there was this one moment before we sort of get the reveal of Claudia and Louis outside listening, where she takes off her glove. And Lestat looks at her hand like, ew, imperfection.
Yeah, he's all like, ew, put that. No, that's what gloves are for. Gross.
Look, and that's when I was like, oh, you definitely gonna die. Because again, Lestat does not like imperfection. If we think back to that opera singer that he killed.
Oh my gosh.
I was just like, and I was like, you're mouthy. You ain't got a finger. You're missing a finger. Count your days, girl.
Yes. I mean, it's also a sign. Or at least I think that's how he treats the people that he actually doesn't care about. You know what I mean? Because Louis is plenty imperfect, right? But he's not. I mean, I'm just saying, like, no one's perfect.
No, devil's advocate.
I'm not saying physically, but I'm just saying, like, if he didn't care about Louis, I'm sure he would find things like that also.
Absolutely.
To say about Louis.
But he doesn't.
And the way he treats people that he actually doesn't quote unquote care about is like legitimate, like nothing.
Like you're trash. Yeah.
Like, right.
Yeah. Okay. I agree.
Terrible, but
I feel like we got to fight. We haven't fought in a while. I haven't fought since Warrior. I miss Warrior.
When is that coming back?
I don't know.
2024. What is it?
I don't know. 2023 December. Look, it's already January. Why are you acting like I work for Stars? I don't know.
Because you always know these things, Mo.
I need to actually apply for press access, and then maybe I'll know. But I do not know. I'm just estimating. Let's say if it takes 4 months to film, 4 months to edit. Marketing.
I just feel like you say December 2024 just to hurt my feelings.
Not to hurt my feelings, to everything. Like, right. But at least it's coming back. Better than not coming back.
Well, let's see. Well, I'm going to say what you told me about HBO Max.
What did I say?
You said something like, well, we don't even know if it's going to be there.
Look, and but they... I love capitalism because it's just cookery. Because you remember they had that promotion 2 months before they announced that where people signed up for 2 years? How the fuck you put people in a 2-year contract and HBO Max ain't even going to be here in 6 months?
It's not.
That's what I'm saying. But people got a 2-year contract for HBO Max.
Because they're dumb, or they think that everyone else is dumb. One or the other.
I was like, I don't even know if I'm gonna give you. But look, I'm sure they would just flip it. But like the audacity to like engage in contractual obligations when, like, get out of here. I don't know how we got sidetracked. Antoinette. Lestat. Okay, let's see. Okay, she wants to be a star. Antoinette.
He's like,
girl.
yeah, sure.
Like, girl.
Give me what you promised me. I'm dying over here.
And like, there's obvious bite marks. Like, so he's been sucking on that neck quite often.
Yes, because he goes to her when on the nights that he's supposed to be hunting, is what I understood.
I guess.
So I guess he's still eating.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. She's like,
12.
I can't be a star. How can I be a singer if no one will hire me? I'm like, girl, that is the least of your problems. You're
Of your
fucking a
concern.
vampire and you're being hidden out in a motel on the
Right.
outskirts of town. Like, you have
Right.
so many bigger problems than
He
you
is
realize.
literally cutting you up into pieces.
Like,
Okay.
she is not seeing the trees for
No.
the forest or flip.
But
I don't know.
that's why I was like, she has to be glamored, right? Because
Or maybe she's just dumb.
oh, I know. I'd
Like,
rather her
people
be
have
glamored.
like done less for less.
And that is very true. Very
So,
true.
you know, because okay, if a vampire who you've seen do like tricks, so whether or not you're like partially glamored, you
Mhm.
know this man has power and connections, and he is somehow lied to himself, to his spouse, and to you that you are somehow special in this universe of his. You are
Mhm.
not special. You're special right now because you serve a purpose, and that purpose is to piss Louis off. And here's my question for you. Do vampires not have super hearing in this world? Where if someone is talking outside my window, which like right now I'm indoors, but if somebody
Mhm.
outside my house was talking, I would hear them. But we're
They-
supposed to believe Lestat cannot hear Louis and Claudia.
Thank you. Thank you. But also,
Okay, I wasn't sure.
no, I know because
Yeah.
I thought the same thing. However, I don't know in other universes where vampires exist, they would have like heard him right away or something like that, right? But then I'm just kind of like, they may be super duper extra quiet, like because they're vampires now, right? Or
Wait,
B,
why are they even talking when they can mind talk?
no, I don't think that were they talking out loud?
I think so. Let me play it.
Because she was just like, I told you or something like that. But did she say it out loud?
That's a good question. I'll replay the scene, but continue.
No, and the other thing that I that I distracted myself with was is this something that you have to like engage? You know what I mean? Like if I'm, when you're like he wasn't paying attention because he was dealing with with what's her face, the lady, and he wasn't like engaging his like super hearing to do something else. Those are the only two
Gotcha. Like if
reasons
you
that I
want to be
can
nosy, it's like
right.
like when you want to be nosy is different from when you're just chilling,
Right.
And it's like I know when I'm trying to be extra nosy to hear what's happening in the next room. I'm like,
Exactly.
it's almost like I sort of like put my ear antenna.
Exactly. And your brain is engaged in a different way. I don't know if it's if it works that way.
Yeah.
Or
Okay. They were not talking. They were mind talking.
They were mind talking.
Apologies. They
Okay.
were mind
That's what I
talking.
thought.
They weren't completely stupid, but
No.
movements.
But maybe, I don't know, maybe let's give them the benefit of the doubt and say that
Sure.
vampires are extra quiet.
Sure. But, Claudia is like, you see your boy? See your boy still cheating?
Told you. Yeah.
It's so fucking sad. I wrote on the top of my page, sad, somber, and then I was like, ... Can't think of any other S's. But like all the S's.
All the S's.
All the S's. But Claudia's like, he's still cheating, blah, blah, blah. They walk away. And this scene kind of reminds me of like the Hulk walk. The Hulk walk. When he walks the Hulk?
Yes.
When he's like, he puts his finger out, it's like, dun, dun. I don't remember the old school. It's like he's just sad and it's raining and he's trying to hitchhike. It kind of reminds me of that because it's like Claudia is like, do you see it? He's still cheating. He's still lying. We can't trust him. But Louis just kind of said, okay, yeah. But it was also like numbing. There was no fight. Even before the breakdown, there was no fight to be had from Louis.
No.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, there was no fight. I think he's so busy with like his own stuff and kind of and worrying about Claudia and being obsessed with Claudia to possibly an unhealthy degree that he it didn't seem like he had any fight in him. And in episode 5 when they got into that big fight at the end of the episode, it was only after Lestat came after Claudia that like physically came after Claudia that he, did something about it. But he just, it doesn't seem like he has it in him anymore.
Yeah, like I don't even think he has it in him. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
Louis just, because like he kind of is like, because Claudia's like, so you're not going to do nothing? It's like, what do you want me to do? Like that's what he wants me to do. Mm-hmm. That's what we saw when he went to Lestat, when he got the record player.
Right.
Or the vinyl. He is like, that's the same reaction Lestat wants now. Oh, Antoinette is still alive. Fuck you. You lied. Blah, 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 blah. And he's like, no, I'm not doing that. And
You
that
think so?
yeah. And if that to me is not, because again, the people always say the opposite. What is that word? The opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference.
Mm-hmm.
It's indifferent. He doesn't give a fuck. Do you? You want to cheat on me 50 fucking times a day? Do you, boo boo? I do not care.
Right.
And that pisses Lestat off even more. Because also, Lestat kind of looks over to the wall. Because there's a point where Antoinette's dumbass is like, let's leave New Orleans. And Lestat's like, dumb bitch, I ain't leaving New Orleans.
Yeah.
Who told you that?
Yeah, he was like, that's not going to happen. Let's stop talking nonsense.
And I was just like, again, that was like point number 25. I was like, Antoinette, girl, you in danger.
You're in danger.
Like, I don't care for her, but like...
But also, I need you to be smarter, Antoinette. That's
a little bit.
Yeah, just a smidge.
Like, you don't let a man cut off your finger, girl. Would you let a man cut off your finger for a promise of like future richness?
I barely let them cut me off. No, like that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I was just like, she has to be glamored. This is crazy. Yeah. This can't be like her regular self.
I don't think she's glamored at all. Wait, was Antoinette the chick he fucked in episode 2?
I want to say she's a singer. It's the same.
Damn, she's been around for a minute.
The one that was like, oh, we've heard rumors about you guys.
And he doesn't even get her a house. Like, girl, know your value.
Mm-hmm.
He put you up in a hotel, not even a house on the house with the time. If you're gonna take my finger, I need a house.
At least.
Like 2023, y'all. Please, whatever you think your value is, triple it.
Triple it. Yeah.
Don't be getting your finger taken off and then be putting up in a shack where you paying weekly rent like a bum. Don't.
Listen, women, we let men take way more than that.
Yes.
For various reasons.
Yes. So I don't think Antoinette is glamored.
Damn. I know. I just don't want to believe it, Mo.
I know. It hurts. It hurts my soul. It hurts my vagina and my soul. Both of it.
I know.
But one thing Louis also says when there is no reaction to be had from him towards Claudia is like, why would I react? Lestat is all types of fucked up.
Yeah. This is who he is. It's not like, they're not going to change him. And I think that was very evident in this episode.
Yeah. Because it's like, you always see those chicks who are like, I found out my man was cheating for the 10th time. Like, girl, the 10th time? And you're still this, like, Jerry Springer, like, you're still this excited after the 10th time? Why? At that point, invite her over.
Yeah, or listen, there are many people that are okay with it. They accept it. Yeah. They know who they are with. It is enough for them to love me, for me to love them, and
pay
for
my
us to
bills,
have that.
Maybe.
And then he or she can go, or they can go have.
And some people just like religious, right? Some people literally take till death do us apart. They take that shit seriously to an unhealthy level.
Unhealthy, but I'm talking about like on a healthier level, where it's just like some people just accept it, and is
that healthier?
Like, it could be. It could.
Okay. I could see
it. I know that you're doing it. It's fine to a certain extent, as long as I have what I need from you. Yes. Then that part it isn't. It doesn't matter.
But that honesty is not in this relationship.
No.
I don't
know.
Like, again, it feels like Louis can't get what he wants. Lestat isn't either, but he's getting more than Louis. He's got more. Also, like.
No, I think we're going to agree to disagree on that.
You think Louis is not getting... What did I even say? I don't know. Okay, anyway. Lestat is all types of fucked up. That's the thing. That's the message. Yeah, and they all sort of maintain this fucking charade. And Claudia is the only thing...
Claudia's the only one that... Her rage and her hate is keeping her clear.
Because Louis just wants to pretend.
Louis wants his life. He wants his life and his family back. That's what he wants. The family that he has lost, that connection that he has lost. He even walked over to the place where he used to, like in the beginning of the season, that building where he used to house the
I missed
business
that.
or whatever. You know what I mean? Like he wants to go back to what he had, his partner, his kid or whatever, sister, family. Like he wants that family back, and he was working hard.
But sometimes you can't go back.
And sometimes you can't go back. You have to go through the shit to find what that new thing is going to be.
And that's hard as fuck. Like, so
absolutely.
Like, I absolutely agree that people who just want to stay where they're at, I don't look down on it. We've all been at that moment in life where it's just like, I'm just going to sit here and let life pass me by. But I ultimately always say at some point you're either fine with that or you're not. And when you're not, that's when you sort of push through that. And it's painful and it's disgusting and it's... But absolutely. 9 out of 10, I would say even 10 out of 10, if you get past that, it's for the better.
Absolutely.
So whatever their 10 out of 10 and whatever pushing back with Louis and Lestat is going to look like, I can't wait. But just even on a basic human level, like, it's completely understandable. But it's still heartbreaking because you got like Lestat and Louis fucking, and Louis and Claudia, like, Claudia being like, we could take the 10 a.m. train.
Right. They're plotting behind Lestat's back.
Yeah.
And then Lestat and it's fucked up, and it's complicated, and it's chaotic, and it's a lot of things that relationships are.
Yes.
You know, and it's hard to kind of get out when everyone's, for lack of a better term, broken in many ways, in different ways. You know, when you are hurt and then you go in and turn hurt, like it's hard to kind of get out of that own cycle for yourself, but also like even help somebody else get out of that cycle or not be in that cycle with them. Like it's just hard. It's hard.
It is.
Like I was gonna say it's hard being human, even though they're not, but they are. They're like the most human.
Their formative years were human.
Yeah.
Even if the rest has been vampire. It's not easy. It's not, it's tough. And I really hope anybody listening gets that from me. Is like, I could joke or whatever, but like, it's really fucking hard being a human being.
Absolutely.
Not easy. But yeah, and it's like, even to this point, I was like, maybe, like, okay, I was like, are we sure Lestat can't read minds?
Right.
Are we sure Lestat can't? Because I don't know. Or maybe he's just really good at reading people. I don't know. But
he does have, you know, what is it, 200 years on them?
I feel he's like 500 years. I don't trust them for shit about his age either. Because it's like, later on, they're like talking about how like only like ancient vampires have like the cloud ability, right? So
older,
so in my head, 100 isn't ancient, 200 isn't, like 500 plus is fucking ancient. Like you were around during like the Aztec Empire is ancient. You being around during like Shakespeare is not ancient, you know? So that's sort of how I think about it. Like that's why I think he's even lying about his age. But they still fucking.
I mean, yeah.
The fucking look good, even though I was sad.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so next scene, we have them in the church. Not the church. The park chair again. And it's just, again, I love the contrast from the beginning of this episode, from the series, where everything was so light and happy and cheeky, and I was all for it. And now it's just sad and morose and like sad.
And angsty and
just terrible.
And sad.
The vibes are all off. The vibes, y'all.
The vibes are not fun.
No, not at all. No, I don't know why the vibes are not fun, but I know the vibes are not fun. Oh, something else I didn't mention is how like intermittently throughout the episode, these motherfuckers need to leave New Orleans. They've been like, they didn't even move to a different zip code. They in the same fucking house.
And like, they've been in the same house for like 30 years.
And people been putting voodoo and dead birds and shit outside their door, and they're like, we didn't feel welcome. Motherfucker, you have not aged. What?
Yeah. I don't understand. I really don't understand.
If my neighbor in 30 years still look the same, I would be putting a dead chicken outside their door.
That's what I'm saying. Like all the rules that they have to keep themselves safe, or like, I don't know, whatever they had, like that Claudia broke at the beginning of the episode. Or last episode. Like that one wasn't one of them. Like we should move every 20 years or something like that. You know what I mean? I feel like that should be one of the first rules.
They're so toxic, they've lost their common sense.
They've lost all their shit.
Just full on petty. Yeah. But yeah, so they're on this park bench again. Lestat leaves because he's just like, I'm over this. And all of a sudden, I was sort of surprised because Claudia's like, I'm gonna go on the train. I was like, now, like now.
She was ready to get the fuck out.
Yeah, but Louis like, I would hold you back. I don't even speak Spanish. Mm-hmm. You go. I know. Like he lists a bunch of names, a bunch of cities, towns, whatever. And she leaves. Like he kind of gives her a goodbye hug. How did you feel with this scene? Because I was like sad as fuck.
I was sad, but I liked that she definitely needs to get away. Like every, kid. I'm sure she's kind of like the equivalent of like 19 or something now, or whatever.
I think he said she was 33.
No, but in like if the beginning of this episode was her like in those teen years, I feel like now is kind of like when you go off to college and like now you're ready to like leave your family and be out there, right? Like that's how I saw it. So I was also happy that he was giving her the go ahead. You know what I mean? It wasn't her running away. It was them talking about it and him being like, it's okay.
And leaving without Lestat, no.
Right.
Yeah, but when she finally leaves and he kind of admits to himself that he was like, I would have been fine just staying here until morning to burn. Mm-hmm. But he didn't want to like put that damage on her, sort of the damage of Paul's death on him.
Right.
Like he didn't want the anniversary of her freedom to forever be marred with the anniversary of his death.
Yes.
Which that was shit.
That's some real shit, and that's some very kind, compassionate, like a way of thinking. That's really
again showing he's only living for her.
Yeah. Oh,
I was so sad this entire episode. I hated it. It was heartbreaking.
It was heartbreaking, but like in a very like tender way,
Yes, because he loves her.
Absolutely, that's family right there.
Then and all its craziness. So Claudia leaves on the train, and we're like, yeah, Claudia's leaving. Claudia's leaving.
That's great.
Yay! Spoiler alert. In present time, Louis offers the gift of, I guess, eternity, immortality to Daniel, who says no. Because he's not dumb. He's like, and then my kids would die. Like, I'm good. Yeah. I'd be all alone. Like, that's sort of the immortality comes with eternal loneliness, in a sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's hearing a story from a vampire, and he's heard it before, albeit different, but like. It's not the greatest or the most glamorous or whatever.
Yeah, eventually,
now that he's older, he's like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah, like eventually, unlimited money is boring.
Right.
I think I would love to have unlimited money, but once you have everything, what's left? Like, yeah.
Right. Immortality can only be fun for so long.
There is no such thing as true immortality, because even with vampires, they're gonna be like, I'm bored. I'm just gonna burn myself now. Like. Yeah. How many civilizations can you see grow and fall and grow and fall? Like I'd be like, that'd be a lot, yo. Mm-hmm. Okay, so she leaves. Daniel declines the gift of immortality. We go back to the past. Louis decides he's not going to kill himself, but rather return back home to the undeserving Lestat on the eve of World War II. He gets home, he opens the door, and this shit was just sad. Because again, like he comes home, there's fucking voodoo outside the door. He opens the door, fucking Lestat is there. And I was not expecting what happened next.
No.
Which is like Lestat being like, World War II, you hear this? And he was like, motherfucker, you don't care about humans. What? And Louis like, Lestat is like, of course I don't. But like, our little sister, who was going to go on vacation, thank God I brought her back. And when the camera pans to fucking Claudia, just there sitting with her luggage, I was just like, motherfucker.
I know. No, he didn't say I brought her back. He said, oh, she decided not to go.
Oh, okay.
Like it was her decision to like, you know, to not leave to Europe because it's so dangerous.
And I was like, how? I was like, how, Lestat? How? because we saw her. She was
ecstatic to leave.
Like she was on the fucking end of. She was with the animals, and she was like, "Yes, adventure time, reading my book, my journals," and she is back, and she's just sitting, like waiting, like
just pissed.
I don't know. I'm tired. Lestat had me tired this episode. But yeah, so she's back, and I hate it. And then we get the flashback of how he brought her back, which was terrible. What did you think?
This scene was so delicious. Oh my God, this scene was so good.
Why? Which part was delicious? Was it the porter coming through, or was it Lestat killing the porter? Was it him?
From the entrance to the fact that he knew that she was leaving? You know what I mean?
And that's when I was like, this motherfucker is reading it. How he know? Because again, it's either he's reading their minds or like he's reading Louise's mind. Like, okay, he said
it. I forgot. But he mentioned.
Oh yeah, he said like he can read other vampires' mind and like a greater. But that means you have to do that.
He knew about Bruce that way.
Yeah, because he could like read other vampires' thought. Which is like how what's the mile radius on that?
I don't think there's a mile radius, because remember when Claudia was gone, Louis kept saying, come back. I'll be here for you. I'll be at the balcony, blah, blah, blah. That same, you know what I mean? Like,
but like Louis knows Claudia. He didn't know Bruce.
No, but what I'm saying is like he was putting it out there. And if you're a vampire, you could hear him regardless of how far they were.
So are you saying that he could hear
Bruce heard him too?
Gotcha.
Louis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you remember that episode, he was just like, he said something that alluded to the fact that he was also hearing Louis.
Yes, that makes more sense now. Because I guess try not to die here. I mean, there are millions of human beings. There are not millions of vampires. So that I guess the filtration system is better. Is my point. So that makes sense. But yeah, Claudia's back. I hated the fact that Lestat basically threatens her because in a sense he realizes, I mean, Claudia was barely gone for 5 minutes and Louis was contemplating suicide.
Yeah, and he said as much. Yeah. And again, I feel like he was hella honest in his very cruel and fucked up ways, but he's always very honest about it. And he was just like, look, me and you can only stand each other for the sake of Louis. And let's be real about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we both know that that's what it is, and that's what it is. I cannot have you leave because the last time you left, look what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't have you leave.
And I get that, but
Louis, this is why this needs to happen.
I'm like, you could not have done this a nicer way?
No,
and that's how I know he wasn't glamoring Antoinette, because he didn't even fucking glamour Claudia. Because that would make his life so much easier. Just fucking glamour her to behave. But no,
I don't think they can glamour.
So Antoinette just out here being a dumb bitch then.
Well, because she's human and she can be glamored if she's human. I don't think he can glamour.
Damn it. Thought we solved that. Damn it. Yeah. Okay. But I hated the fact that he brought up her abuse at the hands of Bruce and how he's like, Bruce still thinks about you, and I was like, fuck you.
Fuck you hard, Lestat.
Like
that was uncalled for.
Absolutely.
That's his cruelty. He really always goes to the cruel.
And I don't know if you've noticed, but like Claudia pointed it out 2 episodes ago, how his cruelty comes out when he's scared.
Yes.
But like, I fucking hate people like this.
Yeah, but there are people that do that. Yeah, people that do that on a regular basis. That is how they are. For I'm sure that's a trauma response, for different reasons, but it's how a lot of people are.
And just for anybody out there listening, once you realize that about people in your life, when you realize people just get angry and fly off the handle because in a sense
and lash out,
life is easier because it kind of just seems like play acting. And that's sort of Claudia this episode, because it's like, are you done yelling? Because the point is, you don't respond. They get off on you responding, in a sense. Obviously, protect yourself, have boundaries, but people like this who just sort of fly off the handle when you don't respond, like, it's just, There's a therapist out there who's explaining the show better. Maybe I should Google or YouTube that later. Like, therapist explains interview with the vampire. Lestat.
I'm sure it's out there.
I'm sure it's gotta be. I'm gonna do this. If you guys listening know, send me the link so I don't have to do the work. Or maybe you have a better option. But I know there's like a legitimate thing here, whatever it is. But yeah, he brings her back. Why is Bruce not dead? In my head, I was like, maybe Bruce is dead. That would be great.
Why would he be dead? Who would have killed him?
Claudia.
No. He's way older and stronger than her.
If he wanted to be nice, Lestat, go fucking kill him. If you want to say we're family, go fucking kill the dude who raped me.
I'm not gonna say he won't do that in the future.
Okay. You know what I mean? I'm just saying somebody needs to give that gift to one of them needs to give that gift to Claudia.
Or
Claudia
the gift
herself.
of bringing him to Claudia so Claudia can take care of it herself.
Look, absolutely. Fuck you, Bruce.
And I actually am very much looking forward to that.
Okay. I am
needs to
excited.
happen.
I am excited to that then. Because fuck Bruce.
Fuck Bruce.
Anyway, so yeah, great camera angle work on the reveal of Claudia in the living room.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Another thing that I really liked about that scene, what he was doing in that scene, the purpose of it, I got it, understood it, blah, blah, blah. I didn't love it, but I just enjoyed watching the scene and how it was developed. You know what I mean? And one of the things that I loved that was so obvious, but I loved it, was the fact that he was like, he sat down and he was calmly threatening her and saying everything.
Yeah, he's like, this is the story.
You're right. Talking to the dog. And then he goes to the dog, all right, back in your cage now, as he's bringing Claudia back to her cage. I fucking love shit like that. And
how I loved it. I love it. And also how like when he is back, he's like, this is a story we're all going to lie under.
Yes.
I'm going to pretend that I didn't know you were about to run to the Underground Railroad. Mm-hmm. I'm going to pretend Louis... I don't even know. We all going to pretend.
But I think earlier when he was just kind of like, oh, am I allowed to ask a question? That's him. I really do believe that that's him saying like, this is all bullshit because none of us are being honest.
How many times do we do this with family?
And so now but that's what I mean. Like, he's just continuing. Okay, we're going to do this and we're going to just act like everything's normal. Then let's act like everything's normal. And you're going to come back home and he's going to be happy and I don't have to fucking deal with his sulky, angsty self.
Because I know when she's gone, my house going to be messy again. I'm not doing that. I'm not fucking doing that.
And then, so you're back and Louis is happy and you're unhappy, but I don't care about you.
I don't care. We're all going to be unhappy together. And there are a lot of people out there who live and die by that philosophy.
Exactly. This is family company. And we're just going to have to, this is what it is.
This is what family is. And it's like, is it? Does it have to be? Because I don't want to. Do I have to feel like I'm being held hostage by family? And they're like, yes. It's like,
yes. That's how we love you.
And it's like, I don't want to love each other like that.
No, thank you.
I don't want to do it. And like, we're Claudia. It's like, well, I'm going to have to murder you now.
Right.
It's your fault.
Right. So obviously it's like, can you blame Claudia for being like, well, now we're going to have to kill him. Yeah, so like, you're on board or not? You know what I mean?
You're not letting me escape, my guy. You're not letting any of us escape.
He has to fucking go.
I hate it all.
Oh, I love it. It's delicious.
It's just fucking.
That's why we're here, and I'm enjoying the fuck out of it.
Well, you've had time to process. I watched it today. I watched it 4 hours ago.
Oh, that's right.
I am still. It takes. I hate when I like watch shows and come and podcast about it with you because I'm still up in my feelings.
Right, you're still loving.
Like I'm still like flashbacks, PTSD, like pew pew pew, like But yeah, he brings Claudia back. And the final bits of the show is glorious in a sense, because like we said, like Claudia's like, well, now we're gonna have to murder you. Mm-hmm. And she knows Louis loves her more. And we see again contrast. Beginning of the show, we have a chess match, even though like Claudia baits Lestat, he still wins the match. But this time around, Claudia not only baits Lestat, she understands Lestat, which, understanding the way your abuser, or understanding what makes your abuser tick, the person who manipulates you, gaslights you, because abuse is not always physical. But once you understand, you're just like, oh, this is easy.
Yeah.
We see that in this chess match where, again, Lestat can't see outside of himself.
Yeah.
Everything is about her.
Yeah, and she was able to put a plan in place to trap him and think ahead. Something that she hadn't been able to do until that time.
Something Louis has never done.
No, because Louis is not about that life. Like that's not where he is. Him and Claudia are in different places.
But do you know what that means to me and why that scares me? What the fuck is happening in present times then? Because why should I believe then that Louis has gotten smarter?
I don't know. But isn't that the whole thing of it? Where is Lestat? Is he dead? Is he alive? Where is he now?
Well,
why can you be now by yourself?
Yeah.
Without him there?
Because it's like either Lestat is dead and Louis is being manipulated by someone else, that is Lestat 2.0 or maybe Lestat 0.0, I don't know. Right. Or Lestat is alive, and that's going to be a fun season 2. But at the same time, Louis is not a master manipulator / planner. He's not Lex Luthor, he's Superman.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe. I just think that he's just not in that space to do that. I don't think he actually
ever in that space.
But I don't think he wants to do that. His relationship with Lestat is different than Claudia.
Yeah, but at this point, Lestat is holding them both hostage.
Is he though?
Yeah,
he's definitely holding Claudia. Yes, I will absolutely agree with you. Louis, I'm gonna still say no. Louis is there by choice. Louis is absolutely there.
Yeah, because Louis lazy. Louis like me. I know I should go to the gym, but that would involve getting up. And it's like whatever happens.
No, Louis loves him and he doesn't want to leave him. But he had the opportunity, and all he did was say, I can't.
Yeah, like we said, he's.
The same way that Lestat told Homegirl that he wasn't
stay in New Orleans and not change zip codes.
Right. She has to happen. Other shit apparently has to happen between the two.
I mean, because obviously he moved to Dubai and at some point was in San Francisco. So something big enough happened to get them to leave the fucking state. And I can't wait to know what the fuck that something was.
To get all of them. Yeah. Because Claudia, he doesn't even know where Claudia is right now.
Yeah.
So they're not in present day, and they're not together.
I feel like Claudia's dead.
I don't think so, because they mentioned something, not this episode, like 2 episodes ago, that made me think that she was alive currently, in present day.
I hope so.
I hope so too, because that's even that. If she is alive, then I really want to know what happened. That they're not talking or together or whatever.
Yeah, but this life, Louis. Look, I don't mean this in a negative way, right? But Louis just comes off as the person who is always in a relationship.
Who doesn't know how to be by themselves?
Yeah.
There's absolutely people like that. They just don't know how to be by themselves.
So whether or not Lestat is there, I by the end of this episode, I'm not quite sure Louis is broken, because you can leave your abuser and jump right into the arms of another abuser. That is something that is very common, especially even again, not always physical. It could be like someone who's narcissistic, someone who is manipulative of you, and you'll be like, well, that friendship is done. And then your next friend is just the same as your old friend. Right. So that's sort of the vibes I'm getting from Louis, is as he broke in that cycle that started with not technically Lestat, with his mama. So has he got therapy?
All the way back to his mama.
It always goes back to the mama, yo. I know. So I hope he has. But if he hasn't, what the fuck is happening? Right? Okay. Right. So my heart. Anyway, I'm sad. It's very a lot. So she's back. They're playing chess. And okay, so what did you think about the chess match and how it sort of went back and forth? And he's like, "Girl, you don't know how to play." And she's like, "I was like, oh, she gonna whoop your ass."
From the second he was like, "Oh, you're sacrificing your
Yeah.
bishops and your knights and all that stuff. I was like, oh, she's setting a trap. I just don't know where. The first time I was like, I didn't know where it was going to end.
Yeah.
But the fact that it ended with her, okay, so now I'm cool, and now I know that I'm gonna kill him, and that's the decision. I was already on board because we saw that she could think a couple of steps ahead. Like, it didn't work in this episode. We actually saw her plan to escape him or whatever didn't work in this episode because he already knew.
She said we gotta think 5 steps
do.
ahead of him.
Exactly. So to end the episode with her being able to see way ahead of whatever he can see.
He was pissed.
He was so pissed. It was great. Yeah. And I like the way that Louis, because obviously he can hear her mind. He was like, "Oh, I don't like the way you're feeling right now."
Yeah.
It was that confidence. It was like, "I know I got this."
Yeah.
Oh my God. That was, yes.
And I love how, like, I didn't think that was the secret. She was like, "I'll tell you an even deeper secret. Even you yourself don't know." I didn't think the secret was going to be you want to kill him too.
Right.
I really did.
I disagree with her, even though he's like, yeah, we're gonna kill him, but like, I don't think he wants to.
I don't think he's gonna do it for her. But I feel like in this type of situation, this is a Mufasa and Scar situation. I'm dropping all the analogies. Yeah, because it's like you either gotta whoop his ass or he's gonna kill you. Or completely have you, a person like Lestat will either kill you or completely have you under their thumb to the point where you can no longer breathe, and maybe like Magnus walk into fire. I don't know.
He's going to consume Louis.
Or you whoop their ass or kill them. Yeah. So with Lestat's action, his fear of abandonment, which he himself said, he has basically created this situation that's about to happen.
Oh.
It's going to be fun.
And it's going to be super fun because the fact that they ended the episode the way they did made me, even though I don't want Lestat to die or for them to do this, I'm now rooting for them to do this.
Yeah, they have to.
You know what I mean? Like, it got me hyped. I was like, yeah, and I believe her. I believe her. She has her mind to it. She has a plan. I know that she's gonna get it done. So we'll see.
Oh, that's what happened. Oh, is that what the spacebar does? Now I know what the spacebar does. I'm using my mic.
I was like, whoa, what just happened?
Look, only been using Zencaster for like 8 years. Never knew the spacebar could do that. Just got to press it.
You just found that out.
Yes. Just
learn something new every day.
Every day. Make mistakes, y'all. But what was I even saying? What was I saying?
I don't know. I couldn't hear you.
What was I saying before you couldn't hear me?
We were talking about Claudia being sure and rooting for her. Like, she's sure about this plan and she can.
Oh, yeah. Especially because, like the petty angel that she is. Mm-hmm. She doesn't checkmate. She checks him, but she doesn't checkmate him. And he's just like, finish this fucking game.
She's like, no, I already won. I don't have to finish the game.
Like, I'm good.
I'm good.
And if that didn't piss him off 20 times more.
Which meant that she enjoyed it even more.
Ooh.
Oh, baby.
That's that night you go to bed and you just have the best night's sleep of your life because she ain't even scared of you.
No, she's not.
She got under your skin.
Mm-hmm.
And Louis just increases the value. He's like, I don't know who the president was right now. Roosevelt, one of them. He's like, let me increase this nighttime news. Was it the fireside chats they had back in the days when they were? I was kind of jealous, like when I was coming of age, and not coming of age, but let's say the first war in my head, the Bush onto Obama.
The Gulf War, you mean?
No, not first Bush, second Bush. They killed my pap. They tried to kill my pappy, dumbass.
Okay.
Got angry about that. I'm sorry. I get if I had unlimited power and somebody hurt a friend. If somebody hurt you, Carly, I would be fit. We talked about this. I would totally use the entire power and might of the government to rescue and find you, but I would not say it on like stage. I would not admit it in public.
You just tell me privately.
Absolutely.
Are you cutting this out of your podcast that goes worldwide?
No, because you're assuming I'm going to become an authoritarian. I'll become president.
Hey, I believe in you, Mo. You should believe in yourself too.
Okay, so no lie. You know this whole George Santos thing? So, like, he technically has my resume. Like, the fake
probably
resume.
stole it from you.
Yeah. And I was like, so I could be a congresswoman?
Yeah.
Right now is what y'all are saying.
Apparently no one checks shit.
Oh
so
my
yes,
God.
you can.
I was just
And besides, you are not probably, you are absolutely more qualified than he is.
And I
you
was
are
just
absolutely more qualified than he is to do anything.
And this is why I continue to say, know your value. And when I say y'all know your value, I say that to myself too, because I don't know my value for shit. It's a constant progress. Yes. I undervalue myself. But I was just like, this motherfucker said he went to where I went, work where I need to think about my life priority. Mm-hmm. But yes, back to Lestat and Louis and their insanity. Claudia checks him, goes upstairs. He throws a tantrum as usual, and Louis just increases the volume. Oh, fireside chats is where I changed it. I was mad. I meant to say when Bush the second. That sounds disgusting to say. The second Bush didn't like have fireside chats, but you know that was a war on propaganda, and we just don't do that anymore. We just go to Twitter and yell at each other. But yeah, so Louis sort of finishes the story at that point. We go back to the present. Daniel, this motherfucker has fallen asleep.
Fell asleep. All the way asleep.
Understandable. I think he had some IV done early in the day by a doctor. So he's had a long day. And Louis is considerate. He's like, Rashid, could you bring him a blanket? Which is nice. That is nice.
Yeah. By the way, my favorite part of like the first time that we see them in the beginning of the episode was the doctor being like, I'm not here. And everybody kept like mentioning or referring to him. And he's like, I'm not here.
That's not here.
I'm not here.
Goodbye, doctor. That's not here.
Yeah.
I love it. And it's supposedly he's like supposed to be, I don't remember what position, but like that's like the doctor to like presidents and shit or like prime ministers. Like,
yeah. He's like a big deal.
Yeah.
That's why he wasn't there. Right.
Yeah. That's why he wasn't there. It's not on the Bucks.
I just found that really funny.
Yeah. Yes. But then I was just like, why the fuck are we seeing Daniel in his younger days? Because I told you I'm already over Daniel. So I was just like, we're dedicating 60 seconds to Daniel.
I love that. Kudos to the casting for the show because I don't know. I like the younger. Yeah. The younger Daniel. I thought that. I was like, yeah, I could see that younger Daniel turning
Christian
into
Slater is kind of ruined. I can see no other person than Christian Slater.
I mean,
as a young Christian Daniel. Slater. Exactly. Did you ever watch Bed of Roses?
Yes, of course.
Oh my God. I love that show. This is why you and me, we're soulmates. Because like you're probably the third person in life who has ever said like, yes, of course. That movie defined my high school. I love. I still remember the themes. I love that show. I have the CD. Like I have like maybe 30 to 50, maybe max 100 DVDs.
Yeah.
That I've just kept over the years, and that's one of them. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
Hey, those are the formative years. That shit formed you.
Look, and it's winter when all I do is be nostalgic for old movies and TV shows. But yeah, Daniel falls asleep. I need to see what you think about this scene because we get this flashback of a young Daniel and the first time he met Louis. Horrible wig, but I feel like that's on purpose.
Wait, who had a wig?
Louis.
Really? I just think that they just kind of puffed his hair up instead of bringing it down.
It was a horrible hairstyle then.
Well, yeah, it was the 70s.
Oh,
of course it was.
Is that what
like,
it is?
No, like, sorry to the people that, were in the 70s, but you guys knew it was terrible.
It was terrible. I was just like, I was like, he's not hot anymore. Stop it. I was so angry.
I know. I did like Louis flirting with him, though.
Oh, absolutely. And Daniel was like, wow. I was like, so did they fuck? But that wasn't the point of all of this.
No.
The point of all of this is the fact that fucking Rashid was in that fucking bar. What the fuck, Carly? Explain.
Now, I have questions. I don't have answers for you.
Because, like, he can walk in sunlight.
So, no, my question to you is, do you think that was, his dream remembering Rashid being there, or is it his dream being a dream, and because Rashid is in his life right now in current days, then he put him in that dream.
No, I thought that was him remembering a memory he had forgotten.
So who was Rashid is the question.
If Rashid is Magnus, I'm gonna kick somebody's ass because then that means Magnus is out here manipulating dumbass Louis, which I don't want to lose respect for Louis in the last episode, y'all.
Mm-hmm. No,
I understand we all enter into bad relationships, but I cannot. But the only way I will accept it is if Rashid is Magnus, that means Lestat is still alive, and we got a face off.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That I would be here for.
I'm here for that, yeah.
So, I don't know. I thought that was a forgotten memory. Because I was like, why else would y'all show us? Because what would be the point of the second option? What would be the point of...
You're right.
You know. Also, I did kind of think it was funny when he fell asleep and Rashid was like, I'll gladly wake him up. I'm like... Dump a bucket of ice on him. Like, relax.
Like him and Rashid
they hate each other.
Yeah. But also it seems like Daniel is hard to love.
Yes, intentionally.
Right. Like he's just real prickly, you know?
Yes.
Like maybe his mom, but like that's it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he's ready to die in misery. He's like, fuck all of y'all's. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know that the way it ended, because I was like, what would be the point? So that Rashid sort of popping up has to matter.
Something. Yes, yeah, absolutely. It absolutely does.
I'm sure it does. His hair's great,
so nice,
sexy, Rashid, but I'm sure he hasn't been here just for eye candy reasons. I'm sure that's not the only reason this actor was brought in. Which I mean, if it was, okay. But
I mean, if it was, I've enjoyed it
as well.
But if he wasn't, I will enjoy it.
I feel like there's a lot of restraint.
Mm-hmm.
We find out.
So what you were saying that you think Rashid is Magnus, right?
I think that's a possibility.
So you're saying that Rashid is definitely a vampire.
Yes, because I was like, is that? But then I also realized like Louis has been like taking his blood all this time.
Yeah, he's been drinking.
But he used to do Lestat's. They used to suck each other's blood.
Yeah, sure they did.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and more than that. So that we can't really use that to take away or not take away whether or not he's a vampire, unless he's a human that has just been sucking on vampire blood so long. It's like good health care. Like he just lives longer.
He just lives.
Like that's the only other thing I'm thinking of.
Mo, never change, please.
I don't think I have a choice. You want to hear something funny? And this is a nice, lovely treat for the people who are still listening after 90 minutes. That's what y'all get for quitting early, quitters. So I finally signed up to Bumble, right? Mm-hmm. And I was telling, thank you. I'm trying to get back out there. Slide in the DMs if you are worthy. But I was talking about it. I was like, I did something. And they were like, what? I was like, I signed up for Bumble because they've been like on me for like a fucking year to like give a fuck about relationships. And I said, I signed up for Bumble. And they were like, why? I was like, well, I've been so stressed in other areas of my life that I decided I would rather be stressed about a person relationship. And then I said, but that was
right.
Yeah, that's my honest reason. Like if I'm gonna be stressed about work and family, like let me like shift that energy over to possibly dating someone or finding love or whatever. And they laughed because they were like, that's probably not why.
Right.
They were right. You're gonna get. They had a good rebuttal, which is like, you're gonna get what you put in. If you go to dating looking for a stressful situation, you're gonna get a fucking stressful situation. And exactly. I was like, you're right. But that was my immediate thought. Obviously, at the end of the day, it's like partnership, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah.
That feely shit.
Feelings, blah, blah, blah.
That makes me want to throw up. Yes.
Right.
But yeah, so that's a little peek into my personal life for y'all that's still listening. Surprise. But yeah, Daniel. I hope next week is not a heavy Daniel episode because I'm not here for that.
It's the season finale is going to be all Daniel.
It
It's
better
just going to be one big Daniel
punch
flashback.
my brand new
Spoiler alert.
TV. Get
Right.
out of here. No, it better not be Daniel. But
Can I just say that it's so fucking dumb that this only has 7 episodes.
I agree.
At the same time, I appreciate it because they have been, or they are, because we haven't talked about the 7th, but just a fucking phenomenal season.
Yes, I agree.
Just like incredible episodes, but like just 7.
Yeah, I think they didn't think it would be successful, and we didn't talk about this on the record or when we were recording, but the fact that I was trying to share the show in the Facebook group, which if you're not a part of, please consider joining. It's fun, it's safe, it's private, and we have a blast. But I was trying to put in the fact that I was watching this week's episode, and normally if you go on Facebook and you type in the show, it comes up. It links people to that show. You don't have that ability with Interview with the Vampire, but you do with AMC's latest show, AMC's Mayfair Witches, which Carly made an excellent point, has barely been out for a week.
It's barely been a week. Tomorrow, because we're recording Saturday, tomorrow's going to be a week, and that comes up. But
so
not
where
Interview
the
with
fuck
the Vampire?
is Interview with the Vampire? And it's that them hating on brown and LGBTQ shows and not trying to highlight it, which fuck you, Mark Zuckerberg. Another reason for me to hate you. But I don't like that.
No.
Because this show should be so much bigger than it is. And that might be one of the reasons it's not.
Yeah. And it's so much, much better than Mayfair Witches.
Oh, okay.
I'm not hating on Mayfair Witches at all, but Interview with the Vampire is way better.
Okay. And I haven't watched Mayfair Witches yet. I'll probably watch it tonight or tomorrow. It's on my list. Thank God for a 3-day weekend. Okay. I'm good. I love witches. That's my jam.
Me too.
But yeah. So if any of you out there are listening, try it on your Facebook and see if you're able to like pull up, like when you go to Facebook, what you're watching. See if you like, I've done it. I couldn't do it. Carly couldn't do it. I don't think any of us can, but if you're listening, give it a shot and let us know, because I think Facebook is just being terrible as usual.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's all we've got. Anything else you want to mention?
No, that's it. Fucking great episode.
Great fucking episode.
Another good episode. Even if it was like emotionally.
Draining. I did not come to deal with all of this tonight, but I made it, guys. I'm happy. But yeah, so that's episode 6. We will be back for episode 7, the final episode of season 1. And I am super fucking excited to be back with Carly. We might have a special third chair. Stay tuned. The finale episode is titled The Thing Lay Still, and they've got like Louis and Lestat in like old-timey clothes. And I'm like, I know these motherfuckers ain't leaving New Orleans. Like after an entire season of bullshit, I feel like episode 7 teases like, ooh, they went to. I was like, no, they in New Orleans. They went to a costume ball. Fuck yeah, They too toxic to leave. I don't know, like. I can't wait to see what makes them move, because it's like we all have problems moving.
We all have
these two.
My thing is like, I would love for season 2 to be in a completely different place. That's not New Orleans.
Yes,
but we'll see if they even get out of New Orleans.
Toxic ass couple.
So.
Love it. But yes, guys, final reminder, if you have feedback, send it to tvmoviemistress@gmail.com. I will put up a post in the Facebook group, but I hope all of you listening do come through with the feedback. Let's know what you've enjoyed. If you've enjoyed us, let us know. We are just as vain as Lestat, and we'll take all the compliments, of course. And on that note, Carly, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on all the socials at Carly Vision with a K. You can listen to my original podcast that I just brought back called That Pop This Life. Everywhere is That Pop This Life, or you can go to thatpopthislife.com to find all our episodes and where to listen there. And Taki Shondaland should be back at the end of February, and I'm very excited about that. Wherever you listen to podcasts. Yeah.
All right. Guys, check her out. You love me, you love her. Package deal.
Thank you.
Oh, also, happy belated birthday, bitch. I cannot believe I almost forgot to like embarrass you on the show with that. Guys, wish Carly a happy birthday on Twitter. Go, I don't care if it's a week or a month or a year after, go wish her a happy birthday.
Thanks, I appreciate it. I was about to say, happy New Year to you.
Oh, happy. it's another year. Look at that. Look at that. It's our last year of daylight savings.
Oh, yeah, that's
That would be
something.
nice.
That's something.
I'm very depressed with this lack of sun. Like, fucking sun goes down at 3 p.m.
Yo, talk about it. I was like, it is 3:47. Why is it dark? It's so dark outside.
I'd be like, it's 6:30. Why am I ready for bed?
Right,
Like,
I was ready. Yep, me too.
I
I'm ready for bed with my tea and everything.
I hate it. Oh,
Oh my God. Thank you so much for inviting me on. Back on, Mo. I
It's
had a blast as usual.
I had a blast too, girl. And you guys can find me on Twitter, BookDreamer01. Again, come through, join the Facebook group. Also, if you like the show, if you enjoy my shows, give me money, patreon.com/TV Movie Mistress. And in exchange of the money you give me, you get exclusive podcast episodes, exclusive unboxing videos, just exclusive videos of me making, like, being me. I don't want to say making an ass of myself, because I'm beautiful in all the ways, but like just exclusive shit that freemium does not get. So support the show. A lot of work goes into it. Like, I could be out there like going to bars and shit, but like I'm here on a Saturday night loving talking with my girl, but I'm just saying, like, make me feel good by giving me money like I'm a stripper. Patreon.com/TV Movie Mistress. Also, leave a 5-star review if you don't have money, because we're in a recession. Understandable. And if you've left the 5-star if you've left the 5-star review, and if you don't have money, just come talk to me for free on Twitter.
Say hi.
Yeah, that's literally it. I will take that. Exactly. Yeah. But that's it, guys. Stay safe. Wear your mask. Like, COVID's still a thing.
Be good to each other.
And don't let people like Lestat in your life.
No, don't. Just from like the beginning, don't do it.
Don't do it. It looks like it'll fire sex, and it will levitate you off the floor.
Yes.
And it's going to be a story you want to tell your grandkids, but don't do it.
Don't do it.
It's not worth it.
It may not be worth it.
It's not. It's never worth it.
I mean,
fire sex never ends well.
Yeah, but
because you're willing to compromise all your values and morals.
Everything for it. Yeah.
Everything.
No. Okay, fine. I agree with Mo. Fine. Don't do it. Yes. Reluctantly.
Our first agreement for 2023. Love it. But yeah, guys, don't do it. But thank you for listening, and we'll do this again soon. Bye.
Bye.